We just spent 7 nights aboard the world's second largest cruise ship, Utopia of the Seas. And this is the good, bad, and ugly.
JJ Cruise.
Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Jordan.
And I'm Jared.
And this is JJ Cruise. Well, we have spent 7 nights aboard Utopia of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's brand new ship. This ship cost $1.3 billion to build, and we have quite a few thoughts.
We're going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, as well as if it's worth your hard-earned money to go on this cruise ship. But before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel. All we do is cruise content, whether it's cruise news, or if it's something like cruise reviews like this one, we will give you all the cruise info. So please subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up while you're at it.
Utopia of the Seas is being marketed as the world's biggest weekend. For the next couple of years, this ship is going to be running 3- and 4-night cruises out of Florida to the Caribbean, and let's just say we have experienced every single party aspect that this ship has to offer.
Now, we know there are a lot of questions regarding the world's biggest weekend. Is this cruise ship family friendly? Is it a party ship? Is it a booze cruise? Is it worth the money that it costs, as this is one of the largest cruise ships in the world? We're going to get to all of that, who it's right for, who it's not, all by the end of this good, bad, and ugly review.
And at the end of the video, we're going to tell you if this is a ship that we would ever sail again. Let's get right into the good, and we're going to talk about embarkation. Now, this is one of the largest cruise ships to sail out of Port Canaveral, and so we weren't sure exactly how embarkation would work. To be honest, it was seamless. We arrived at that port by about 10 a.m. and by 10:45, we were on the ship already enjoying our first beverage of the cruise. Once on board, we got right to our stateroom. Now, we've already said quite a bit about our stateroom. You can check out our full stateroom review, but the staterooms are large, have great storage, they're bright and airy with nice blue colors, and something that we really love is the nice big showers that any cruiser could fit into with a nice glass door.
This is important because not all cruise cabins or cruise staterooms have a nice bathroom, especially a nice shower. A lot of them have shower curtains or those like sliding doors that are really hard to function. This is not the case. It's a capsule shower and absolutely beautiful. If you're not familiar with the Oasis Class, this ship and this cruise class has a lot to offer. We fell in love with this cruise class, and this is the way I fell in love with cruising. And a lot of the same great activities and things to do around the ship are here on Utopia of the Seas as well. That includes laser tag, that includes your zip line, your mini golf, your rock climbing wall. You can go ice skating in the ice skating rink when the ice skating performances aren't happening. There are parties at night, there are activities throughout the day, there are parades. There's so many things for you to do across this ship, and it's definitely one for all ages.
You also can't miss the slides on board. There's the Ultimate Abyss, which is the tallest dry slide at sea, as well as 3 water slides. So there truly is tons of activities across the ship for everyone. We also love the different neighborhoods. Central Park and the Boardwalk are just a couple of examples of what makes Oasis Class so great. And Utopia of the Seas is a great addition to this class, having so much to offer for everyone that comes on board the ship.
Carnival Cruise Line just announced that they've ordered 3 ships this same size as the Oasis Class, so it shows how popular this size of cruise ship class can be.
Something that we love on a ship is a pool deck, and the pool decks do not disappoint here on Utopia of the Seas. Something specific that we noticed was the amount of in-water loungers that there are, both in the Solarium area, which is enclosed, and we love that part of the ship, but also out in the main pool deck. There's a lot of those white loungers that sit in the water. I think those have become really popular here in the year of 2024, but they are definitely all throughout the pool deck on Utopia of the Seas. You might not know this because we haven't heard Royal Caribbean say it a lot publicly, but Utopia of the Seas is supposed to be the food and dining ship. So let's get into talking about some of the food and dining experiences that we thought were exceptional here on the ship.
We had the unlimited dining plan for this first 3 nights of our 7-night cruise, and we really wanted to try as many specialty dining options as possible. We were pleasantly surprised that all of them really met the mark, but some of them were exceptional. That included 150 Central Park, Hooked, Chops Grill, believe it or not, as well as the Mason Jar.
We definitely had great meals at all 4 of those restaurants, so those will be dining venues you will want to check out if you're coming on board Utopia of the Seas. In addition to those dining venues, we also experienced Royal's brand new Royal Railway. Now, if you do not know, this is the brand new dining immersive experience here on Utopia of the Seas, where you board a train to another destination while having an entire immersive dinner theater experience. We tried Royal's Wild Wild West immersive train experience, and I just have to say, this entire thing has so much potential. The screens and technology used are really incredible and really do make you feel like you are in a moving train. The seats even vibrate to make you feel like you're moving while you're dining in that venue. We're excited to see what's to come. We hear that you might be able to taste wines in Napa Valley, visit the Silk Road, and who knows where this train will take you as they introduce new experiences in the years to come here on the ship.
Besides the technology behind this experience, there are also live actors, and even the servers kind of play a part in this as they come out all together, reveal your dishes all at once, and then they go away all together as well. The actors for the actual experience, like the conductor and the bandits, are something that is really cool for all ages, including those little ones. And so it's definitely something that we enjoyed for the actual experience of it. We'll talk more a little bit later about the food.
Another new addition is the Pesky Parrot. Now, this new bar replaces the Bionic Bar. We think this is a great change for the ship. Listen, the Bionic Bar is on many Royal Caribbean ships, and while it is a cool experience, it was time for something new and innovative.
Now, I will say that this isn't the most innovative. We've seen a tiki bar on another Royal Caribbean ship. However, this is a larger, more immersive experience with a lot more seating, a better drink menu than the one prior, and a talking parrot. So there is definitely some improvements from that of the past.
And if you get a drink there, don't forget to ask for an edible candy straw.
Another bar that is fantastic and probably our favorite across the cruise ship to grab those drinks, those tasty beverages, is the Mason Jar. The Mason Jar not only has a fantastic bar menu, it has late night eats, and the best part, some amazing live music. This is definitely a crowd pleaser. There was a huge crowd every single night that there was a band playing in there, and it was for good reasons, because it is truly a good time.
Now let's talk about the entertainment on the ship. There are 3 main shows here, as shown in the Aqua 80s 2. Now, if you know, you know. Aqua 80s is the best show seas. So when we found out they were going to be doing an extension or expansion of that show here on Utopia, we could not have been more excited.
If you haven't been on an Oasis Class ship before or not seen an Aqua show, they're incredible. They have so many different varieties of performance, from dancing in the water to synchronized swimming to high dives, as well as slackliners. There's even high wire acts where 2 guys are balancing, walking across the audience. It's truly a spectacle, all mixed with 80s top music, and really gives you that good vibes that you wanted to feel from the 80s, but today.
Another show that we saw was the ice skating show. The ice skating show is called YOUtopia, and it's supposed to give you feelings of those euphoric moments throughout your life. The show is beautiful. We really enjoyed the different music that was in the show. Shout out to Jordan Bouth for being a phenomenal ice skater and just a great addition to this ice cast. But we loved the ice skating show here on Utopia of the Seas.
Maybe it should be called Euphoria, because it truly was about the euphoric moments. Know that going in, because otherwise the show may not make as much sense as it should. But all those things, from love, those euphoric moments, to candy, just anything you can imagine having those euphoric feelings. When it comes to the Broadway-esque show, well, it is a review show in the theater, and it's called All In. And this is where the party focus for this ship comes to the entertainment section.
I thought that the main production show was phenomenal. Everyone on that stage was awesome, and the cast was huge. There was 6 main singers and 20 dancers. So Royal Caribbean has definitely made this a massive spectacle on the stage, and every piece of entertainment that we saw from the Aqua show to the main stage show, we thoroughly enjoyed. Do not miss the entertainment when coming on board Utopia of the Seas, and don't forget to make reservations in your cruise planner before you get on board to ensure that you and your family can see all 3 of these awesome shows. In addition to entertainment, there are plenty of activities on the ship. Now, like we said, Oasis Class has so much to offer for everyone. And that's true on these short 3 and 4 night cruises. You've got all of your standard activities, parties a day spread throughout the ship. And a couple that we want to highlight that are some of our favorites are the Toga Party and the Resolution White Party.
I have to start out with a Toga Silent Disco because we all know a silent disco, but this is just amplified with togas. And you do not have to bring your own, by the way. They provide sheets for you earlier in the day, I think for us around 4:30 in the afternoon. And then at night, you come in dressed in your toga. They kind of give you a demonstration of how to put the toga on, give you some safety pins and maybe some rubber bands. But once you go, you are in an entire solarium full of other people dressed in togas with silent disco headphones on, listening to one of 3 DJs playing,
as well as Shine the Night on the Celebrity Ascent. And I have to say, this silent toga party was up there with those other parties. It was so much fun. The energy was awesome. The drinks were flowing, and it was just a great night up in the solarium. For those adults, you're not going to want to miss this adult party late at night in the solarium. The Resolution White Party is another party that's in Studio B. What I loved about this is that Studio B, on especially the weekend cruise, really becomes the nightclub. I think that Red Nightclub is one of the most fun nightclub experiences Royal Caribbean has, so I love seeing them extend this to another party. The Resolution White Party is where they put high-res images across the floor. You're supposed to kind of wear white clothes, so do that when going because you're going to have the images all over your body. The entertainment staff is there. It's good dancing, good music, and just again, another fun nightclub experience that we enjoyed here on Utopia.
Here's a cruise tip. Make sure you look in your schedule. Right now, it's happening right after Crazy Quest. So if you're gonna go to Crazy Quest, wear white to Crazy Quest. I know that's a weird ask because Crazy Quest can get, well, a little wild. But if you wear white, you will be ready to dance at the Resolution Party. And even though the images don't go fully on your body, it just makes more of an ambiance when everyone is in white. Another new thing for this cruise ship is the Effectors Homecoming Parade. There have been parades on other Oasis Class ships or other ships in the Royal Caribbean fleet, but this is a parade on another level. There are live singers. It includes every person of all casts, whether it's the ice show, the Aqua show, or that of the main theater. And everyone is dressed to the nines for their characters, for the people in the Effectors comic book world experience. And it is very cool to see all of these different people of the cast come out as characters and go around the entire promenade parading while singing and dancing.
This parade is a great thing for families, and if you want a prime seating, you're going to want to sit outside of Sorrento's in the main area of the promenade. That's the area where they do a lot of dancing and a lot of the shows, but of course, they do parade throughout the promenade, so if you can't get a seat or a spot there, anywhere in the promenade, you will get to see all of the Effectors cast as they parade around that promenade.
Lastly, on the good, we can't go without saying the service has been incredible and even better than ever for a maiden voyage or inaugural season. This is usually a place where service can falter because there are bumps, but we haven't seen it. There has been very few things that are missing from the sailing, and on top of it, the service is not one of them. Service has been fantastic, so thank you to the crew. You have been fantastic.
We're gonna get into the bad and then of course the ugly of this ship. Before we do, we just wanna give you a quick update. In our first impressions video, we said that we were very concerned about the parties on this ship not being family friendly. Here is a quick guide to know what to bring the kids to and what to maybe leave them behind for. The rule of thumb, if there is a party in the promenade, that is good for the whole family. You can bring the kids. There's lots of parties and dance parties in there, so that is safe.
Like the One Hit Wonder Party or that of the Decades Party. Those are family friendly, including, of course, the Homecoming Parade for the Effectors.
The Plunge Pool Party, which takes over 2 pools of the 4 on the main pool deck, as well as any party in the basement. That includes the attic or Studio B, are for adults, and we would not recommend that you bring the kids to those parties.
Now, of course, you can use your own discretion here. For example, the Plunge Party, Pool Party, does have things that are for kids and then has things that maybe not for kids. So it's kind of to your own discretion, but in general, that would be what we advise. Now let's get into the bad. And as a reminder, our bad isn't always something that's bad for everyone. It's just something that could be a bad for you, maybe is a bad for us, isn't a bad for you, or it might just be a general concern.
A bad that came up actually after we did our first impressions video was in the staterooms. Now we talked about the outlets and how we were so impressed that there was USB-C outlets, which is a new outlet that honestly a lot of people need for charging their iPhones. There is a USB-C outlet on either side of the bed. In our first stateroom, these outlets did not work. We then moved staterooms for the 4-night cruise, and these outlets still did not work. So we think there's a USB-C problem with the outlets by the beds. Now the ones by the desk did work, but by the beds, those USB-C outlets should not be counted on because they're currently not working.
We already said that this is supposed to be the ship for dining. That is Royal Caribbean's focus for Utopia of the Seas. But we don't understand why this ship. This is 3 and 4 night sailings where you're at port almost every single day. If you're not familiar, on port days, there are no lunch options for specialty dining. That is something across the board for Royal Caribbean, including our unlimited dining plan. We're not able to experience half of the meals for the day on port days, which are majority of the days on board this ship. So that begs the question, why this ship for the dining focus? Because even though there's a lot more specialty dining and great specialty dining options, we really wish we could experience a lot of them for lunch, like Mason Jar Brunch, or Giovanni's Kitchen for that lunch experience. Even Izumi for their lunch would have been a great option that we did not have for most of our days on board.
We mentioned this in our first impressions video, and we hated it so much that we're going to mention it again. We do not like the al fresco dining at Giovanni's Kitchen and Wine Bar. We do not think that it is themed. We think the location is awkward, as you can see into people's staterooms, and it's hot and ugly. We think that this was just an afterthought, and while we were really excited about this particular dining experience, we would never do it again. We would eat indoors with air conditioning where it's beautifully, beautifully decorated and actually makes you feel like you're at an Italian restaurant.
Of course, we try this all for you so you don't have to waste your time or money on the wrong location of this venue. Still go to Giovanni's, but sit inside. When it comes to the Royal Railway, we already talked about the overall experience being good. However, there's something that was not so good over our experience, and that was the food. The food was completely disjointed and honestly matched the level of the main dining room, but with gold flakes put on top of it. In fact, my chicken tenders came out with gold flakes on top and a chicken bone inside. I told the server about this, and the server was completely embarrassed, so shocked by this, but also didn't really react too much on doing anything about it. Some of the other portions of our meal that we had were beans, and also on top of that was some bread that was really not edible because it was so disgusting that we couldn't eat it.
There were premium offerings on the menu, such as a lobster salad, but that came out with just a few small lobster bites, and that was a main entree when really that should have been an appetizer. So there were so many things about the menu that didn't make a lot of sense to us, and in general, we went in thinking that the $79.99 price point per person was really low for the experience, and walked out thinking that that price point might be a little high. Now you got a great immersive experience, but you're not going for the food, and you need to know that. This is not for the foodies. This is for the people that want to experience a new immersive dining interactive theater.
Oh, and those drinks? There was nothing to them. I was shocked by those drinks. So hopefully they redo this menu completely, and hopefully in the future for other experiences, they take a little bit more focus for the menu items on that menu.
There is something we noticed they're doing on this ship. We do not like it, and neither do a lot of other passengers. They are now at specialty restaurants coming around and taking your picture and then printing the pictures out and trying to hard sell them to you at dinners. We do not like this because we don't love getting our picture taken at dinner already, but now that there's like two parts to this picture taking, getting your picture taken and then having to say, no, I don't want this picture while you're enjoying your dinner is a bad experience, and honestly, it cheapens your specialty dining experience.
One of the things that were mentioned on review actually got a lot of comments in the Facebook group in the roll call page. and it was immediate. Once the first all-in production show in the theater happened, people were raving, or I should say hating, on the seats in the theater. These seats, for some reason, are a little higher, a little more puffed up, and when you recline, it makes more stress on your legs. If we weren't over 6 foot tall, we would not be able to touch the ground in these seats. We had friends that sat next to us and they couldn't touch the actual ground with their feet, and they were just under 6 feet tall. So this is something that maybe with some wear and tear, it'll feel better, but right now these seats are just not it.
One thing to know about the entertainment is there is only one show per venue. Now, this is not the same on other Oasis Class ships, but it does make sense for 3 and 4 night cruises. I think what we question is what happens in a couple of years if Utopia goes to a 7-night cruise. Will they kind of change this up? Or is Utopia of the Seas meant to permanently be a 3 and 4 night short cruise getaway? The shows make sense right now, but in the future, if they do expand itineraries, we're just interested to see what they do with the entertainment on board.
This was a little disappointing for me, but there was no Broadway show on this ship. I understand it's a weekend or 4-night sailing cruise, which typically means shorter time attention spans. So I get that, but hopefully in the future they don't go away from Broadway shows, because we love The Wizard of Oz on Icon of the Seas, absolutely love Hairspray on Symphony of the Seas, and hopefully we'll get another Broadway show on Star of the Seas coming in 2025. Lastly, we already talked about the Effectors Homecoming Parade being a good overall, but there was one thing that did stand out. Since this included cast members from all 3 casts, Aqua Show, Ice Show, and the main production show, there were people that were really uncomfortable with being in this parade. You could see it on their faces that they just looked like, what am I doing here? It wasn't necessarily scowls or frowns, but it wasn't happy and smiles. So hopefully they have that kind of comfortability in the future to do a little bit more for these kids that really want to see a smiling face.
That was the good and the bad. Now it's time for the ugly. And the ugly has to do with the parties, but maybe not really what you think we're about to say.
It's clear that this ship is meant to be competition for Virgin Voyages or competition for Carnival Cruise Line in the party atmosphere. That is something that has been missed on Royal Caribbean, and a lot of people noticed it for Sailaways, where they don't have enough party crew to
right now consisting of 4 people. And on a ship that can fit up to 7,000 guests, when you're outside having a sailaway party or a pool party with multiple pool decks on multiple levels, 4 people is just not enough to get the crowd engaged, excited, and riled up. The Happenings cast over on Virgin and the Fun Squad over on Carnival are much larger groups of people that do a great job of getting people riled up. And while the party crew here on Utopia of the Seas was great, they need 5 or 6 times the amount of people to host and run these parties. It is a really sad thing to watch these 4 people trying to run around and get people engaged when you've got thousands of people attending these events.
They're really relying on people that are passengers to start the party because there's not enough party crew to start the party effectively. On the 3-night, there were 4 party crew members, party squad, if you will. And unfortunately, on the 4-night, one of them went down. We don't know if they're ill or what's going on, but that automatically took the party crew down by 25%. So you really need to have more party squad on board to really get the party started.
The parties really do have so much potential, and if Royal Caribbean can get a larger party squad here on board, I think that Utopia could be competitive with these other party ships, but for right now, it's not looking good. So, we said at the beginning we were going to tell you if we'd ever sail Utopia of the Seas again, and the answer is yes, of course. From the food to the entertainment to the parties, we did have a great time across the ship.
Of course, we don't love short sailings, but making it a back-to-back does make sense for us, and we would do that again in the future. That was our good, bad, and ugly cruise review. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you go on Utopia of the Seas? As a reminder, we're both travel agents, so go to jjcruise.com if you're looking to book your next Royal Caribbean cruise. Even if that's not on Utopia of the Seas, we would be glad to help get you booked.
Thank you so much for watching. Again, let us know what you think in the comments below. On your way out, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. And again, I'm Jordan.
I'm Jared.
Until next time, See ya.
Change